So on my clock, it's 2 minutes past the hour. I welcome you all here to the sixth webinar of our webinar series on the 6456 new edition. And I welcome Caroline Amberg from Swissertest, who will be today's presenter and will inform us about the new wool performance testing and gentleness of action testing. Caroline, it's yours. Please take over.
Thank you, Rainer, for the introduction. So I will share my screen. So,
Can you change it? Yes, now we have it.
so yeah, now it's good. So hello to everybody. Yeah, I'm very pleased to introduce the testing of wool programs according to the new 6th edition. And before I start, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Caroline Amberg. I'm from Switzerland. I work for Swissertest Test Materials since around 20 years, so quite a long time. So my background is microbiology. So I'm responsible for the microbiological testing lab and research and development activities in this field at Swissertest. And I'm more and more involved in standardization work at Swissertest with my colleague Günther Burtscher. Yeah, so I'm the member of several committees of IC 59, so 59D mainly, but also some activities in 59A and N. And furthermore, I'm the convener of 59D Working Group 13, test materials. Good. Then let's go to the topic wool. I have divided this webinar into 3 parts. First of all, I will give an insight in some general aspects. So there are some points, some test materials, some aspects important for wool cleaning performance tests, but also for wool shrinkage. And then later on, I will go into details with the wool cleaning performance tests, so how this is done in details. And then the last part is about wool shrinkage. Good, then let's start with this general part. So a little bit of history of this whole topic in the IC world. So already in 2008, some pre-work has started about wool cleaning performance and wool shrinkage. So there has been a new liquid wool detergent developed from some members of IC 59D. So I think it was a joint work of also some companies like Procter & Gamble, Henkel, and WFK. And also a wool stain strip was developed. And in 2011, a round-robin test was performed, testing wool performance, wool shrinkage, and gentleness of action in wool programs. So it's quite a while since this was done, but as you can see, there was some pre-work done. And the method, the protocol is based on this pre-work. Then for the wool cleaning performance in 2012, the decision was taken that it will be included into the 6th edition of IC 60456. And this wool cleaning performance is a new performance parameter, so it has not been in the standard before. For wool shrinkage, it is a bit different. So there was already a description of a wool shrinkage measurement in the 5th edition. So in the 5th edition, it was in class 10, so in the main part of the standard. And in the 6th edition, it is transferred to a normative Annex W. So this makes sense because wool shrinkage is from its measurement principle a bit different than the normal cleaning performance measurements. So I think it makes sense that it is in an annex and a bit separate from the other parts. Then, as I said before, because we have a new detergent, so this ICW, this new detergent will be used for preparation of the wool shrinkage specimens and also for the test. And before, in the 5th edition, it was ICA Star, which was used for this purpose. So this means that wool shrinkage, according to the 6th edition, is not comparable with the wool shrinkage according to the 5th edition because a different detergent is used. Good, then when we have a look at the different performance parameters, well, we have 2 which are related to wool, as I said before, so wool cleaning performance. This is a new performance parameter in the 6th edition. It is described in clause 8.8, and it can be combined with other parameters like gentleness of action, so it can be assessed with or without gentleness of action, and also, for example, rinsing performance can be assessed together with wool cleaning performance. Whereas for wool shrinkage, this stands a bit alone and is in this Annex W. So this cannot be combined, for example, with gentleness of action or with the wool cleaning performance. And I will explain why it cannot be combined. So this is important. So wool cleaning performance follows the general rule or the general protocol of the standard cleaning performance or the cold wash cleaning performance. So you have a test machine and you run a test series with several runs. And you do that in parallel in the reference machine with the reference wool program. So you have several test runs here. I mentioned here 5 for every machine. So for the test machine and the reference machine. And yes, you do the same as in the standard cleaning performance test. You assess the initial reflectance of the wool stain strip. And then you run the test. And afterwards, you again assess the reflectance after the test run in test and reference machine. And out of these different results, so you get several results, so from different stains and different test runs, you calculate the cleaning score and the overall cleaning performance. Okay, and wool shrinkage is a bit different. So you have as well the test machine where you run a test. And the test means 4 subsequent cycles. And in the subsequent cycles, you do only add new detergent when you start a new cycle. So you start with cycle 1, add the load, the wool shrinkage specimens, and the detergent. And then you run this first test run. And then you leave everything in the machine, so the load and the shrinkage specimen. You just add new detergent and you go on. And then at the end, after these 4 subsequent cycles, you have 1 test result. You also have to run tests in the reference machine, but this has not to be done in parallel. It just has to be done once with the same batch of wool shrinkage specimen and the same batch of detergent and water quality, of course. So this is a different principle, as you can see, and therefore it cannot be combined. Good. So what kind of test materials do we need for wool program tests? Several have already been in the 5th edition described. I have marked them in blue. For example, the wool shrinkage specimen, it was already described before. Now it's defined and described in Annex A.3. Then also the polyester base load for wool programs was already described. Now it's in Annex D. And then we have several new test materials for wool in the 6th edition. I have marked that in red. So the wool stain strip is new. So this is also described in Annex A. Then the thread removal specimen for gentleness of action evaluation is also new in the 6th edition. Günther has talked about this in details in the last webinar. But as wool cleaning can be combined with gentleness of action, so this is also important for wool. And then we have the new standard wool detergent ICW, which is also new. I have mentioned as well this new dosing device for the liquid detergent for the reference machine. So this is not really a test material, but it is a new equipment part available from Electrolux Professional. I will talk about this later on in more details. Yes. Okay, so important for wool cleaning and for wool shrinkage is the polyester base load. So in both kind of tests, you use this base load. This is made of knitted polyester textiles with dimensions of 30 to 30 centimeters. For the test labs performing tests, it is important to know that this base load has not to be pre-treated. There are also no average age requirement for polyester base load. No conditioning is needed prior to a test run or between test series. And no normalization is required after a test run or after test series. So it's relatively easy and convenient to handle. So this kind of load. Good, and then the reference program in the reference machine for wool programs is the same as in the 5th edition. So this one has not changed. It's still wool 40, as you can see in this table F.1. Okay, then some words to the new standard wool detergent, ICW. See your picture of it. It is used for wool cleaning performance and wool shrinkage tests. It is used for any preparation steps of the wool shrinkage specimens. And the dosage is defined in clause 6 in this table 2. In the last row, you see how much of this detergent you will use for any reference or test washing machine program. Okay. Yes, as I have mentioned before, a new dispenser for liquid detergents was developed for the reference machine and is provided by Electrolux Professional. I guess the ones taking part in the round-robin test, they have, or they should have received this kind of equipment. It is very useful and very helpful, also for weighing the detergent. And yeah, the only thing, I mean, it's easy to apply it into the reference machine. You have to take a bit care to put it correctly inside the main detergent compartment. So as you see here, you have to take care that there is no gap here between the inner wall and this liquid detergent dispenser. Good. Then weighing and mixing of this wool detergent. First of all, some words to the storage. So it should be stored at ambient temperature. It should also be stored in the dark. So don't put it somewhere below the window. So it should be in a shelf. And before you use it, you mix it immediately before use. You turn it 2 times upside down. And well, the weighing head should be done with an accuracy of 0.05 grams of this liquid detergent. So this is feasible for the reference machine, where you have this dosing device that helps you. It can be a bit more tricky when you have a washing machine without a dosing dispenser that can be put on a scale, but I will talk about this later on in more details. Yes, I've said it, that for the reference machine, you use this kind of dosing device. So it's easily to apply it. You just take it out, put it on the scale, then tare it and add this standard wool detergent directly inside this dosing device. Yes, and then you put it in the main wash detergent compartment of the reference machine, and you fix it with this part. So this is kind of locker. Yes, lock it. Okay, I can show you a little movie how to place it into the reference machine. So you see here the locking device, which can just be pushed forward. Okay, and then for the test washing machine, so weighing and dosing can be a bit more complicated, especially when there is no dosing device available which can be put on the scale. Then you have to use a beaker glass and a syringe, and there are several possibilities how to use that. I will give more details for that in webinar 7, so the next webinar in the detergent part. So if you use liquid detergent and for another round-robin test, it's useful to have a look at this webinar 7. For the ones participating in the wool round-robin tests, it's relatively easy because the test machine from Miele has a dosage device which can be applied to this detergent drawer. So it's also relatively easy to dose and apply the detergent. As you can see it here, you just have to attach this inner part of the main wash compartment. So this is separately, you can add it or apply it. Then you can take out the complete detergent drawer, put it on the scale, dose the detergent inside here. And then you just put the whole drawer back into the machine and you can start your test. It's, as I said before, not all washing machines have this possibility. So I'll tell you that, but just for information. So it's not really relevant for this round robin test, but it can be relevant if you want to run a wool program in another washing machine than for the round robin test. So the placement of the detergent can be done in a different way. So in the in standard, it is described that when a detergent dispenser is present and large enough to hold the whole detergent dose, then you should put all the detergent in this dispenser. So it can be via this syringe, or it can be via a dosage device, which you can put on the scale. If this detergent dispenser is not large enough, then it should be filled up to the maximum level, and the rest of the detergent has to be placed in the base of the drum before you load the machine. Then there are situations, especially for vertical axis washing machine, where you should not place the detergent into the detergent dispenser. So when it's recommended by the manufacturer that you should do that only when you use a delay start option. So in this case, you put everything, so the whole amount of detergent, into the base of the drum, as if the dispenser is not present. So as I said before, this is not relevant for these wool round robin tests. And there are also washing machines that do not have a detergent dispenser. Then manufacturer's instructions have to be followed. Respectively, all the detergent also has to be placed in the drum with the syringe before the load is added. But I will give more details on that in webinar 7, as I have said. So for the ones taking part in round robin tests using liquid detergent, this might be relevant. Good, so I think that's all for this general part. Are there already questions before I go into details for wool cleaning and wool shrinkage? This seems not the case. Then I will go on. We will come now to the wool cleaning performance. So wool cleaning performance follows the same principle as standard cleaning performance or cold water cleaning performance. In a first step, you measure the initial reflectance value of the wool stain strip, and then you attach the wool stain strip to the polyester base load item. Afterwards, the different test runs have been done, and then the wool stain strips, they are dried and ironed. And then the next step is that you measure the reflectance value of the washed wool stain strip, and you calculate the cleaning score, respectively the overall cleaning performance. The reference machine has to be run in parallel, so with this 40-degree wool program, and you also do it according to this different step. So it's as an option, you can also measure the gentleness of action with the thread removal fabrics, thread removal specimen. So this is optional and can be combined with the cleaning performance. But it is important to mention that there is not really a direct comparison of wool cleaning performance values with and without gentleness of action. So you you have to mention it. So if you have to do it with or without gentleness of action, and you should not compare wool cleaning performance results with gentleness of action and wool cleaning performance results without gentleness of action, because it can have an impact. Okay, then what kind of test material is needed for wool cleaning performance? First of all, the polyester base load, then the detergent, the wool stain strip. So this is a stain strip with carbon black and chocolate milk or cacao on a wool-based fabric. Then optional is the thread removal specimen to assess gentleness of action, as you see it here on below. Important to mention is also that for wool tests, you always need GOA A. So this means you just apply this thread removal specimen as you see it here without any cover. The reason for that is that in wool program, we have normally a relatively low amount of mechanical action, and therefore it's better to measure it without the cover because it differentiates better. Good, then when we go through wool cleaning performance step by step, you have to do a preparation of the test washing machine and reference machine as described under 6.2, so these pre-runs. Then you have to prepare the test material and the base load. So I have mentioned that before, you do not have to do pre-treatment or conditioning of the load. Then you do the reflectance measurement of the unwashed wool stain strip. So this is done with at least 4 layers of the same type of stain swatch. So you have to lay several wool stain strip on each other, and then you measure every piece, so every stain swatch 4 times on the upper side in the center of these 4 quadrants, as you can see it in this figure on the right-hand side. Yes, for the round robin, so each of these 4 individual readings shall be recorded, but you can also use the average value of these 4 readings as a result. Again, a little movie, how this reflectance measurement of the unwashed wool stain strip is done. So you see that we have several layers of this stain strip. So with the same soil type below. And then these 4 readings on the upper side only. Okay, then the next step is the fixation of the wool stain strip. Yeah, first you should also mark it with a sample number, and then you attach it to the polyester base load. This follows again the same general rules as for the other stain strips. You should place the stain strip on the top of the load item. And we show that so that the carbon black piece of the strip is here in the edge. And so the upper side of the stain strip should face down. Again, a short movie sequence, how this is done. So you can see it also on the seam, which one is the upper and is the upper side. So this is the back side, as you can see here, from this seam where the stain swatches are sewn together. Good, then the test load composition for wool programs is described in table 6. And I have already mentioned the relevant one for the round robin test. So for the reference program, 1 kilogram test load mass is needed. And you see here also the amount of base load items and the amount of wool stain strips and thread removal specimens. And for the mealie machine, you will need 3 kilogram of test load mass with the base load items described here and the number of wool stain strips described here. So it's 3. Yes. So this you can adapt the test load mass by removing or adding base load items. So it should be close to the 1 kilo or 3 kilo plus minus 30 grams. Important in this table that there is a mistake in it. So CD2 is not perfect, so we are working on it. But so the text and the table is not really consistent. So for the one doing wool performance tests in the round robin, be aware that the number of thread removal specimen is not correct here. So for the mealie machine, the test machine, you will only have to apply 2 thread removal specimens. Good, then how to load the machines. For the polyester base load, respectively the wool program, there is not really a clear procedure how to load. It's just written, it should be loaded evenly. What we have done when we tried it out, we have, for example, for the reference machine where we have to add 1 kilogram polyester base load and 2 Goa A swatches and 2 wool stain strips. We have divided this polyester base load into 5 even parts, and then we started with the first bundle of this polyester base load, then added the Goa A on it, added the second bundle of this polyester base load, and then put the wool stain strip on it, and so on, to have it evenly loaded. So that's what we have done. For the test machine, you could do it in the same way. You just have to make 6 bundles and you load these 3 kilograms. You divide these 3 kilograms in 6 even small bundles and then load it accordingly.
Caroline and Markus here speaking. One question: why do you come up with 3 kilograms of loading the mealie machine?
Okay, it's in it's in my sheet, what I have received back. So is this not correct?
No, it's defined for 2 kilos. The
It's
wool
2
program is
kilograms.
defined for 2 kilograms.
Okay, that's an important information. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's another question from Claudia. Hello, hi Caroline.
Yeah.
I had a look in the table where we have to fill in our results. There are 2 kilogram mentioned. For the reference machine and also 2 kilogram for the Miele appliance. So what is
Yeah.
correct? So
As
Markus,
for
yeah. So what is correct?
Yes, as I said before, the Miele machine has to be loaded with 2 kilograms.
And the reference machine?
With 1
It's
kilogram.
1 kilogram.
As Caroline said.
Yeah.
But Claudia said 2 kilogram is also in the for the reference machine. In the table.
In which table?
Yeah, I think the reporting table.
No, in the reporting, I don't know which where she has the reporting table from. The template which is going to the regional leaders, there is no load amount specified. So it's dependent on what the regional leaders put in. And if they refer to the standard, the reference machine has to be filled with 1 kilogram.
Okay, Claudia, perhaps you can.
Yes.
Speak.
Yeah.
Yes,
I looked in the results table, so where we have to fill in all the data.
Yeah.
And there are 2 kg mentioned for the reference.
Which results table from which do you got it?
For the round robin test 06. And yeah, I think we got it from the responsible person.
from John.
Then it might be my fault. Then it might be my fault. Okay.
Okay, so Markus, please verify.
Yeah.
And send out version 7 or whatever it is. Yeah, sorry, but this happens. So
yeah, I will check that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's very good that we have clarified that.
yeah, but please just wait. It's up to Markus who really tells us. And then Caroline, perhaps you can change the presentation.
Yeah,
so that at
I
least
can
the
do that.
presentation is okay.
Yeah.
So everybody who is listening, please look later on in the PDF of the presentation. Here you will find the right values.
Okay. Good. Then is there another question? Oh no, this is the one from Claudia. Okay. Good. Then the addition of the wool detergent, I have already shown you in the very beginning a little movie. There is another one here. So as you can see, the weighing is relatively easy. Then you put it in this main detergent compartment and you fix it with this part. And that's it. Good. And then you run, of course, the wool program in the reference and the test machine in parallel. And the reflectance measurement of the washed wool stain strip. Here, an important information: you should not tear away the wool stain strip from the polyester base load after wash, because the strip material is more delicate than the standard stain strip. We did that, and then it just teared. So you have to remove it by a scissor or by a cutting tool. And well, the next step, so dry and flatten of the wool stain strip, is completely the same as for the standard stain strip. So you have these different possibilities. We do normally air drying at ambient temperature in the dark, and then flatten the strips by ironing. And afterwards measure the reflectance of the washed stain strips. And the reflectance measurement of the washed stain strips is done the same way than I have shown you before with the unwashed. You have these layers, so you have to put several strips on each other, and then you measure it in the spectrophotometer. Again, so it's measured on the upper side, so 4 measuring points, and these 4 individual readings. Okay, then the evaluation of the wool performance. So the evaluation of the wool performance also follows the general principle of performance evaluation. So it's the same formula as for the standard cleaning performance or the cold wash cleaning performance. So it was already described and presented in webinar 4. So you calculate the same values. The only difference is that the weighing factor is different for the wool cleaning performance, because we have only two different soils, so two swatches on the strip. So it's 0.5 instead of 0.2 for the standard stain strip. So Formula 8 has to be adapted. For the round robin test, you don't have to care for that, because this is done directly into in the evaluation sheet. You just have to add your data. As you have to do it for the standard cleaning performance. So you have to record, of course, first the test series, which washing machine is used, the program, and so on. And then you fill in the unwashed reflectance values, and then the washed reflectance values. So for carbon black here, you see here, we have here the possibility, it's valid for standard stain strips, for the wool stain strip, and for the cold water stain strip. And then cacao is the second stain you will use for the wool stain strip. So I think more information will be given on that by Markus in the webinar number 9. So do we have any questions regarding wool cleaning performance? So this seems not the case. Then I will go on with wool shrinkage. Good. Yes, I think I said that before, that wool shrinkage was already in the 5th edition, part of ISA 60456. In the 6th edition, it's located differently, so it's in Annex W and not in the main part anymore. So it is assessed alone and not together with performance or with gentleness of action. And it's not comparable with the old wool shrinkage performance, because a different detergent is used. So we use this ICW for preparation of the specimens and the test itself. And we have these 4 subsequent cycles which lead to one test result. Also important to say is that we have always the same amount of wool shrinkage specimens independent from the rated capacity. So always 3 of these wool shrinkage specimens are used. And yeah, last point is we have different symbols than in the 5th edition, but the whole calculation stays the same as in the former edition. It's just we have just adapted the symbols. And here again, an overview. You see here also this wool shrinkage test material. So for wool shrinkage, we have relatively yeah, an extensive preparation. So these 3 wool shrinkage specimens, they have to be cut, frayed and marked, immersed in water with detergent to relax them. And then they have to be rinsed, and the initial dimensions are measured. And then later on the test starts. So you have cycle 1, you load the machine with the base load, the shrinkage specimens and the detergent. And then you have test cycle 2 to 4, where you just add new detergent and leave the base load and the shrinkage specimens in the machine. Yeah, afterwards you take it out. You have again to immerse this wool shrinkage specimens in water, then measure it, and afterwards the evaluation is done by putting the values, for example, in the evaluation sheet for the round robin. In the reference machine, you do not have to run the test in parallel, but you should just do it once with the same test material, detergent batch, and water quality. And then at the end, you get a shrinkage rate index, which is, as we know it, a ratio between the shrinkage of the test machine and the reference machine. So the test material you use, it's again the polyester base load and the detergent, the wool shrinkage specimens. Then for wool shrinkage, you need additional equipment. So you need a tray, as you see it in an example here on the right-hand side. So this tray should have flat bottom and should be around 50 to 50 centimeter width and length, with a certain height of these sides. This is used to prepare the wool shrinkage specimens and also to measure the dimension of these specimens. Then what you use as well is a ruler to measure the dimensions. It's good to have a transparent one. Okay, and then we go through it step by step. Again, you have to prepare the test washing machine and the reference machine. So I think I said that you do not have to run it in parallel, but you have to assess it once. And then you prepare the test material and the base load. So test materials means you have to prepare these 3 wool shrinkage specimens for the test machine and also 3 wool shrinkage specimens for the reference machine. So this is independent from the rated capacity. You always need these 3. Good. Yeah, when you have a look at the test material here on the right-hand side, it's important for you, for the user, to know which is the weft and which is the warp direction. And it's relatively easy to distinguish because in the weft direction, so the width, we have 2 of these red threads which mark the dimensions. And on the warp direction, it's only 1 red thread, so it's thinner. So you will also see that in the movie later on. So it's easy to distinguish, but you have to take care that you really have it in the right way in front of you when you mark it. So this is important. Yeah, the first step is to cut these wool shrinkage specimens. You get it as a fabric. And then the next step, you fray the edges to 0.5 centimeters. You make these V cuts. So 4 of these V cuts on every side of this shrinkage specimen. Yeah, so I think that's the first preparation steps. You will see that in this video sequence again. So as you can see, Günther is here taking out the fabric and cuts along the middle red thread. And then he frays the edges. So normally it's maybe 4 or 5 threads which have to be removed. And you see here very well these 2 red threads here and 1 here. So the width is this direction and the length this direction. And then he makes these V cuts, so 4 V cuts on every side of 0.5 to 0.8 centimeter. Cut it inside the textile. So good. Okay, then preparation goes on. Now, next step is the marking of these wool shrinkage specimens with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Here it's important to, again, check if you really have the weft and warp direction in the right position. And also important is to use a waterproof textile marker. Personal experience. Yeah, to make sure that you really see the marks again after these 4 test runs. Then you have to soak these wool shrinkage specimens in 40-degree warm laboratory supply water with 3 grams of wool detergent per 1.5 liters. So if your tray is a bit bigger and you use more water, you will have to adapt this amount of detergent. Then the wool shrinkage specimens have to be rinsed for 10 minutes each in 50-degree laboratory supply water. And then again, it's soaked for 15 minutes in 50-degree laboratory supply water before you measure the average width and length of these wool shrinkage specimens before you wash it. And then you take it out and you immediately proceed with the test run. So you have to make sure that they are still wet. Good. Then again, a video sequence of this second part of preparation. You see here the marking, and the width direction is visible here with this thicker red threads, so these two red threads here and only one here in length. And then here is also a mistake. It's not tap water. It must be laboratory supply water. So the water you use for the washing test. So you have to soak it for 1 hour in this 40-degree laboratory supply water with detergent, so to relax the fabrics. And then the next step is the rinsing, so 3 rinses. With 50-degree water, 10 minutes each. And after that, you leave it for 15 minutes in this 50-degree water. And then the initial dimensions are measured. So we recorded it directly into the evaluation sheet. So this was the easiest way. So one was measuring, the other one was just typing it in the laptop. And after measuring the initial dimension, you have to transfer it then to the test machine, respectively the reference machine. Good. And then again, also here for loading the machine, there is not really a scheme. So you just have to load the polyester base load items evenly and put in these shrinkage specimens also in an even way, so you can make different bundles of your base load and then load it accordingly. And then you add the detergent to the washing machine. Respectively to the test machine, and you run the wool wash program. Good. So after the first run, as I've said several times, you do not remove the load or the wool shrinkage specimens. You just leave it in the machine and add new detergent. You see it here for the reference machine, so the different times we have weighed the detergent and then add it. And then after these 4 runs, you remove the wet wool shrinkage specimen carefully, and then you can tumble dry the polyester base load items. Yeah, it's important that you transfer the wet wool shrinkage specimens immediately into the tray with water. Soak it there for 15 minutes in 50-degree laboratory supply water. And then you measure again the dimensions. So the width and the length dimensions.
Caroline, there is a question from Luisa
Yeah.
about the
measurement.
ruler.
No, there is not really a clear specification. It's just the specification is that it should be possible to measure half, also the accuracy should be half a millimeter, I think, 4.5 millimeter. But it's not. No, it's not further.
Okay. And do you have any kind of recommendation for the operator, like a distance from the tray, something like that, room illumination? Because measuring this type of specimen submersion in the water is a little bit tricky.
Yeah. Well, there is a recommendation that the water amount should be 1 centimeter high. And if you have a transparent ruler, it's anyway, it's not super accurate, I have to say.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah. I mean, the whole measurement is not super accurate, so.
We will see. We don't have really data from a round robin test, so
Yeah. But
this one will be a good exercise now.
Yeah. I also doubt a bit that really 0.5 millimeter is. Yeah, it is relevant for the ruler because the whole operation is probably less accurate than the ruler, but we will see.
Okay, I don't know if well, my lab is not on the rule group, so I will not run those kind of lab, but maybe it could be interesting to ask for the labs to, I don't know, test different rules, or maybe take a photo and send you what kind of equipment to use to measure, something like that.
Yeah, I think what is important is that always the same person or operator measure it. So then I think it's probably the most accurate possibility. So you always do it the same way. So that's what I would suggest. Yeah. Good. Then again, a movie sequence of this measurement after test. Okay. And then you can record your values into the evaluation sheet. As you see here, the 300 numbers, so this is from a real example we have done, is for the reference machine, the 301 is for the test machine, and you just put the different dimensions, so A, B, C, D, E, F, directly into this sheet, and then the rest is done by the formula, which measures the mean width and the mean length of these 3 initial wool shrinkage specimens. And then we have the shrinkage of the width and the shrinkage of the length of this for the reference machine. This is combined to this shrinkage rate. And the same is done for the test machine. And at the end, we have a shrinkage index, which is a ratio between the test machine and the reference machine.
Sorry, but why is a shrinking index of 1 written in the field of the reference machine?
It's just 1 because it's against the reference machine, so it's just reference
Against itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just how it was done by Marcus, I think. But relevant is this 0.8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think again, you have to use this evaluation sheet as it will be explained by Marcus in the webinar 9. What is a bit special, I just will mention it, but it has also a certain logic, is that the wool shrinkage index is below 1 when the shrinkage in the test machine is lower. That means better than in the reference machine. So because shrinkage, because something shrinks in its dimension, well, the ratio is like, it is a bit different than for the cleaning. There it is like vice versa. So when it is above 1, then the test machine is better than the reference machine. So just remind that and don't be confused when you see this kind of ratio. Okay. I think that's it from my side. So any questions to the wool shrinkage? So I cannot see any.
Neither can I. So really, we have time, so you can come up with questions, please. Use the time which we have. But probably many have not started yet with the procedure, and so questions may come when you are doing the round-robin test. But I think you answered all the questions already. Was a very good presentation. Yeah, are there any questions, comments, or whatever on wool measurement, performance measurement, shrinkage measurement, gentleness? If there is nothing, when nobody wants to say something, then I have to thank Caroline a lot, because she has made a good presentation, well prepared. As always, you will find the video on my YouTube channel, and later on you will also get a copy of the PowerPoint as a PDF file, but this will be prepared later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you all very much, and I hope to see you again next Tuesday, where we have 3 topics to talk about. It's the first one is about reference machines and reference programs. Then we will talk about the new detergents, the ICP, the Ls, L1, L2, and the W again, and also the dosing will be brought to you again. And then we have Marcus to talk with us about normalization cycles and conditioning cycles and conditioning methods. Here we have extended the provisions of the standard. So we have different kind of normalization cycles, and we use it in a different way as before. And also the conditioning methods have been extended. So it will be very interesting. I hope to see you all again. I thank you very much for attending. I wish you a good Thursday and see you on Tuesday next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Caroline. Bye.
Bye.